Hey everybody, what is up? Welcome back to Final Trade. Regrettably, you're going to have to look at my face in large size for this video today. But there was a really interesting question back when I was doing all of those please don't spec on garbage cards videos a couple months ago. And somebody in one of the comments asked, well, if a person is specking on cards and they make 1 cent profit on every transaction, isn't a profit a profit? And it's a really good question because on the surface, you should think the answer is yes, that a profit is a profit. And if you make at least a penny on every transaction, you're coming out ahead. But the complicated accounting reality is that no, you might not make a profit. And there's two main reasons for this. The first one is something in accounting called operational expenses. And so operational expenses are expenses that are not directly tied to every incremental sale of a product. So imagine you run a brick and mortar card store and you sell booster packs and that's all you sell. Okay, so we'll just make this like a stupidly simple model. And all you sell is booster packs and every one of them is $3 no matter what booster pack it is, it's $3 and you just sell those. You can make profit on every one of those, but if for 6 weeks straight you sell no booster packs, you still have to pay the electric bill, you have to pay insurance, you have to pay rent, you have to pay payroll if you have employees, you have to pay marketing costs you've already agreed to, you have to pay maintenance expenses on your facility, all of these other expenses. And so these are all expenses that are not directly tied to any incremental sale. It does not matter how many booster packs you sell, all of those operating expenses are going to be the same. And so what the person in this question was really saying without realizing it was that he would have what is called a gross profit. And that is the difference between the revenue from the sale and the cost of goods sold and some other things. But generally for this kind of business, we can just at a high level say, if I sell this card for $5 on TCG Player, and then I subtract out the market fees, the shipping cost, the top loader that it's sent in, the envelope, the shipping label, the bubble wrap, I take out all of those things and the original cost that I paid for the card, and I'm left with a profit. That's actually your gross profit. Okay? Then you have to take all of your gross profits from all of your individual transactions and subtract your operating costs. Now, beyond that, you'll also subtract things like taxes and interest and depreciation and things. But, most of the time when we're talking about operating out of our bedroom, you don't really have a lot of those kind of things. And likewise, when preparing this video, I thought, well, what are my operating expenses? Because, I just buy boxes and I occasionally sell stuff on eBay and stuff. So I tried to think, what are my ongoing operating expenses? And arguably, it would be the mortgage and interest payments on the portion of my closet that I store product in. I mean, that's technically a cost. I don't try to break those out on my taxes because it's such a small area that it's not really going to matter. So that was about the only one I could come up with for this kind of business. But let's say you're a member, you have a subscription service that you buy cards through. So good examples are Rudy at Alpha Investments, his patron program. So you pay $15 a month and you can buy cards through him. That's an operating expense. Or the Infinite service at TCG Player. I think Channel Fireball has one also, where you can pay a subscription every month. And somebody else does. I can't remember the name, if it's Card Kingdom or someone else. But those would be operating expenses. And so you can make money off of every transaction, but if your operating expenses in sum are too high, you will still lose money as a business. So you will not have any net profit after you take the gross profit from sales and you subtract the operating expenses. Okay, so operating expenses are the first reason why just making a penny off of, at least a penny, off of every transaction will not necessarily make you profitable. The second is fraud. And let's say that you buy cards and you sell them, and the total input expenses for acquiring the cards, buying an envelope, buying a stamp, buying a top loader, it's $1. So no matter what you're selling out of your inventory, it costs you $1. Your total cost of goods is $1, and that includes fees also. And that your always able to sell these for $1.10. So every transaction should make you 10 cents of gross profit. Now, you have 10 cents of gross profit on $1 of cost of goods sold. Now, let's say someone does a fraudulent chargeback against you or says they never got a card or whatever. Now, you lost the $1 that you had invested in that sale, and you are going to have to make the next 10 sales making 10 cents a profit each to make up for that $1 of cost of goods sold that was fraudulently taken from you. And so you can see when you have very low margins on your sales, fraud hits you really hard. And that's what's amazing about these businesses, like these high volume sellers on eBay who are selling boxes of Pokemon cards for $2 or $3 above wholesale after they take into account market fees and shipping. Because when someone does a fraudulent chargeback against them, they may have to sell the next 30 or 40 boxes to come back and break even on that fraud. So fraud is the other reason why simply making a tiny, tiny margin on all of these crap cards is not a good way to run a business, because it takes the smaller your profit margin, the more outsized effect one instance of fraud has on you. So keep those things in mind. That's why you need to focus on good quality assets that you're buying, that you're holding while they appreciate, and that you sell at good high margins instead of garbage cards that probably you're just going to lose all your money on anyway. So let me know what you think. Questions, anything I missed, anything I got wrong, because, I can get stuff wrong too. So let me know what you think. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Join me on Final Trade. Thanks a lot, everyone.